Heroes of Might and Magic is a game series that came out in 1995. It is a spin-off of the Might and Magic series that came out in 1986. I've got a long history with Heroes of Might and Magic. Heroes of Might and Magic 3 might have been the first game I ever played. I've bought every Heroes of Might and Magic game as they came out. But Heroes of Might and Magic 3, up until recently, is the only game in the series that I've played through. But now I've played through all 7 games in the series and they're all pretty long. So it took me a fair amount of time, even though I used cheats in most of the games. I did this partially because I saw that Heroes 1 and 2 was available for purchase on Ubisoft Connect. And I didn't know that you could buy them anywhere in 2024, which is when I bought them. I wanted to see if there's any cohesion in the story of the games, and I wanted to see how playable the games are in 2024, leading up to the release of Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era in 2025, which as of this recording is this year. The first issue you'll run into if you want to play through all the Heroes of Might and Magic games is buying the games. 1 and 2, as I said, is available on Ubisoft Connect, and so is the complete version of Heroes 3. But Heroes 4 is not available on any of the standard platforms, so I had to buy it on good old games. 5, you can buy the standard game and the first expansion on Ubisoft Connect, but not the second expansion. Thankfully, you can buy the second expansion on Steam, and it works with your Ubisoft Connect version of the standard game. 6 and 7 are widely available. What I found is, games 1 through 4 has one story, and then games 5 through 6 has a totally different, disconnected story. There is also a little bit of a continuation of the story of Heroes 4 in Heroes 7 to the Lost Tales of Axioth. So what is the story of Heroes of Might and Magic? Let's start with Might and Magic. The series starts on the world of Varn. You play as a knight, a cleric, a robber, a sorcerer, a paladin, and an archer. They can be human, elf, half-orc, gnome or dwarf. This game is heavily based on Dungeons & Dragons, as a lot of, if not all RPGs was at the time. Your goal is to discover the secret inner sanctum. While you're looking for the secret inner sanctum, you'll find information about a character named Korak and his hunt for the villain Sheltham, who has been masquerading as King Alamar. I'm so happy that they made their names easy to pronounce. You defeat his evil machinations, and at the end of the game you go through a portal to another world named Kron. Knowing that Heroes 1 through 3 is set on Enroth, 4 is set on Axioth, and games 5 through 7 is set on Ashan, I was curious if different worlds was a staple of the series, and it seems like it is. In Might and Magic 2, you're on the planet of Kron. You play as 6 adventurers, which can be 8 different classes, 2 more than the last game. The 2 new classes are ninjas and barbarians. Your goal is to travel across Kron to stop Sheltham from flinging the planet into the sun. You defeat Sheltham and his army. Might and Magic 3. After Sheltham is defeated on Kron, a new group of adventurers is formed on Sheltham's homeworld, Terra. These adventurers are Sir Canagam, Craig Hack, Maximus, Resurrector, Darkshade, Castor, Robert the Wise and Tolberti. Again, I'm so happy that the names are so easy to pronounce. They must aid Kroak in stopping Sheltham's evil machinations. Sheltham escapes Terra and a group of adventurers set after him. Might and Magic 4. While the events of Might and Magic 3 is happening, trouble is brewing on the world of Sheen. A mysterious villain named Lord Sheen has imprisoned Crodo, the overlord of Sheen, in a tower. A group of adventurers must stop Lord Sheen and save the clouds of Sheen and the underground world of Shangri-La. Might and Magic 5. The adventurers pursue rogue guardian Sheltham, now ruling as Alamar on the dark side of Sheen. With the help of allies like Ellinger and Queen Kalindra, they collect energy discs to restore Kalindra's castle and defeat Sheltham's minions, including Count Blackfang. After finding Korak, Sheltham's nemesis, the heroes transfer his essence into a soul box and infiltrate Castle Alamar. In a climactic battle, Korak and Sheltham self-destructs, ending Sheltham's reign and saving Sheen. And that's where we're gonna leave Might and Magic. There are 5 games more in the series, but this video is about Heroes of Might and Magic, and the next game in the series is Heroes of Might and Magic: A Strategic Quest. Heroes of Might and Magic: A Strategic Quest. You play as a group of heroes who aid Lord Morglin Iron Fist. Morglin was forced to flee his homeworld of Varn, the world from Might and Magic 1, through a portal after his cousin Ragnar usurped the throne. Ragnar's rise to power came after his father, Morglin's uncle, killed Morglin's father, the rightful ruler of Varn. Now Morglin seeks to establish a foothold on the unclaimed world of Enroth. Alternatively, you can choose to aid one of the other lords, Lord Slayer, the sorceress Queen Lamanda, or the warlock Lord Alamar. In the canonical storyline, you help Lord Iron Fist. To help you on your quest, you have access to different units. For Knight, you have the Peasant, well, they should never let the peasant fight. The archer, the pikeman, the swordman, the cavalry, and the paladin. For sorceress, you have the sprite, the dwarf, the elf, the druid, the unicorn, and the phoenix. For barbarian, you have the goblin, the orc, the wolf, the ogre, the troll, and the cyclops. For the warlock, there's a centaur, the gargoyle, the griffin, the minotaur, the hydra, and the dragon. The game had a few problems running on a 2024 system. Closing the game was sometimes an issue. Sometimes when I opened the game none of the buttons worked, and then I had to go into Task Manager to shut it down, which was a bit of a problem because it doesn't run as Heroes of Might and Magic: A Strategic Quest. It runs in an emulator called DOSBox, because it's so old that it doesn't work on your 2024 system, and especially not on your 2025 system. Happy New Year. It had a few crashes, which sometimes cause a few annoyances on my system, like my PC forgetting where my sound is supposed to come from. Also, things ran a little slower for a while. Heroes of Might and Magic 2: The Succession War. Lord Iron Fist has died, and his 2 sons Roland and Archibald are fighting for the throne. Archibald has orchestrated a series of events that led to Roland's exile. Archibald is declared a new king, while Roland organizes a resistance. You can help either Roland or Archibald. If Archibald is victorious, Roland's rebellion is crushed, and Roland himself is imprisoned in Castle Iron Fist, leaving Archibald the uncontested ruler of Enroth. The canonical ending, however, results in Roland's victory, with Archibald being turned to stone by Roland's court wizard Tanir. The expansion stories: The Price of Loyalty. This campaign follows a general who, under the Emperor's order, seeks an ancient artifact of immense power. Complications arise when a former ally becomes a formidable rival, racing to claim the artifact first. The Wizard's Isle. Set on a mystical island, this campaign centers on a wizard's quest to uncover hidden secrets and confront emerging threats. The Voyage Home. This narrative involves a hero's journey to return home, facing numerous challenges and adversaries along the way. The Descendants. Focusing on the lineage of a noble family, this campaign explored the themes of inheritance, power struggle, and legacy. The unit roster is mostly unchanged, other than the fact that you can upgrade some of the units now. Additionally, you have two new factions, the Necromancer and the Wizard, which have units of their own. For the Knight, you have the Peasant, well, they shouldn't have let the Peasant fight. The Archer, that can be upgraded to the Ranger, the Pikeman, that can be upgraded to the Veteran Pikeman, who has piked quite a lot, the Swordman, who can be upgraded to the Master Swordman, who has sworded quite a lot. The Cavalry, that can be upgraded to the Champion, and the Paladin, that can be upgraded to the Crusader. For the Sorceress, you have access to the Sprite, the Dwarf, that can be upgraded to the Battle Dwarf. He has seen some things, done some things, unspeakable things. The Elf, that can be upgraded to the Grand Elf. Don't do it, Daniel. Don't do it, Daniel! You shall not pass! The Druid, that can be upgraded to the Greater Druid. The Unicorn, and the Phoenix. For Barbarians, you have access to the Goblin, the Orc, that can be upgraded to the Orc Chieftain, the Wolf, the Ogre, that can be upgraded to the Ogre Lord, the Troll, that can be upgraded to the War Troll, and the Cyclops. For the Warlocks, you have the Centaur, the Gargoyle, the Griffin, the Minotaur, that can be upgraded to the Minotaur King. He fights for his people. The Hydra, the Green Dragon, that can be upgraded to the Red Dragon, and then to the Black Dragon, making it the only unit in the series that can be upgraded twice. But if instead you combine all the dragons, they become the dark, muddy brown or greyish black dragon. For necromancers, you have access to the skeleton, the zombie, that can be upgraded to the mutant zombie. They can run now. The mummy, that can be upgraded to the royal mummy. I guess the previous one was the peasant mummy. The vampire, that can be upgraded to the vampire lord. The lich, that can be upgraded to the power lich. and the Bone Dragon. For wizards, you have access to the Halfling. The Boar. The Iron Golem. That can be upgraded to the Steel Golem. The main difference between iron and steel is that the former is a naturally occurring element, while the latter is an alloy of iron and carbon. Another interesting fact about steel is that it's heavier than feathers. Which the next creature is covered in, the Rock, which in this universe is a bird, not a stone. A fairly large bird, bigger than any birds that I've ever seen. The Mage, that can be upgraded to the Archmage. And the Giant, that can be upgraded to the Titan. This game is also very old, so it also has to run on the emulated DOSBox, which causes some issues. Sound was a little bit weird on this game. I don't know if it was because of its age or if it was an actual issue. Like the previous game, I had a few crashes, but it ran smoother than expected.
"7 weeks have passed since we set sail from Enroth. Slaves freed from our skirmishes with Regnan fleets talk of the turmoil in Erathia. I suspect their stories are true, but I must see the evidence with my own eyes. The ocean tides were kind enough to bury the fallen on its shores. However, the smoking ruins of Cloudfire greeted us with nothing but destruction and the stench of death. With no survivors, only the battlefield could tell me what happened here. Despite the breath of devastation, the presence of Minotaurs suggests a raiding party. However, the ranks were too well organized. This is the work of the dungeon overlords. Evidently, the wizards were prepared, but overrun nevertheless. These atrocities rend my heart and fuel my anger. Erathia's banner must be respected, never disgraced. I think of my beloved Roland and my son Nikolai, and how much further this war will carry me from them. But my duty is clear. My father's kingdom must survive. Erathia must not fall to its enemies.
Heroes of Might and Magic 3: The Restoration of Erathia. The game's story unfolds primarily through a series of 7 playable campaigns, all set upon the continent of Antartridge. During the campaign, the story is told from alternate points of view, giving players the opportunity to play as each of the town alignments. Following the disappearance of King Roland Ironfist of Enroth prior to Might and Magic 4, The Mandate of Heaven, his wife, Queen Catherine, is left to rule the realm. In the meantime, her father, King Nicholas Griffinheart of Erathia, is assassinated. Without a beloved king, the kingdom of Erathia falls to dark forces of Nyon and Eofor. Queen Catherine has returned home to Antartridge, seeking to rally the people of her homeland and lead them against the evil that has ravaged their nation. Erathia's capital of Stedwick is sacked by dungeon overlords of Nyon and the Kriegans of Eovel. Meanwhile, the nations of Totalia and Krulod skirmish on the western border, seizing the chance to expand their territory. Catherine's first task is to establish a foothold in the conquered kingdoms by enlisting aids of allies. The wizards of Rakada and the elves of Avlee answer the call, and together they push towards Stedwick and eventually retake it, quickly quelling the border war to the west. Soon after, Lucifer Cregan, a commander in the Eofel armies, send an envoy to Erathia, claiming that Roland Ironfist is captive within their territories. Avlee invades Eofel but fails to rescue Roland, who is transported to the northern holdings. Afterwards, Catherine invades the tunnels of Nyon, pushing the dungeon armies back to their island home. In the meantime, the necromancers of Deja, having been responsible for the assassination of King Griffinheart, plot to revive his corpse as a lich. They had planned to use his wisdom to lead their own armies of the undead. However, King Griffinheart will prove too much for the necromancers, even in his corrupted state, and he will become a rogue lich who seizes the rulership of Deja. Having little other resources, Queen Catherine is forced to ally herself with several of the necromancers, and together they set out to destroy King Griffinheart before he becomes too powerful.
Throughout my life, my father emphasized my duty to the kingdom and my duty to justice. Today, I did both, by delivering to my father, Lord Hart, the traitor who poisoned him and imprisoned his soul in an undead corpse. When I came to Erathia, it was to mourn a great king and a loving father. Your enemies have waged war to prevent me from seeing you one last time. I have driven them from the land. They will not disturb your eternal slumber ever again. Great victories and great tragedies have marked the Griffinheart history. Your death brings an end to the Restoration War and the Griffinheart lineage. I will miss you dearly, Father, and think of you often. Rest in peace.
A final bonus campaign, accessible only after the main campaign is complete, tells the story of separatists in the contested lands, a war-torn border between Avlee and Erathia. Tired of the skirmishes that led to the unrest in their homeland, they joined the fight for independence from the two large kingdoms. It is later implied that the rising war was orchestrated by Archibald Ironfist, the antagonist of Heroes of Might and Magic 2. Armageddon's Blade. Queen Catherine and her allies discover Lucifer Cregan's plan to forge Armageddon's Blade. This weapon would allow him to scorch the entire world, purging it of non-Cregan life. Catherine sends forces to thwart Lucifer's attempts and gather intelligence on Cregan's progress. Along the way, the story explores various alliances and confrontations between Erathia, Avlee and other factions. In the final campaign, Lucifer Cregan is defeated and the Armageddon's Blade is taken by the heroes. Catherine entrusts the blade to Gerlu, who helped her on a quest in stopping Lucifer Cregan from using the blade to scorch the land. Dragonslayer. This campaign introduces a side story about a wizard, Drakon, who embarks on a quest to become the ultimate Dragon Slayer, Dragon's Blood. This campaign explores the story of Mutare, an overlord of Nyon who raises to the ranks and eventually turns into a dragon after drinking a dragon's blood potion. crossover potential. Festival of Life. This campaign follows Kilgore, a barbarian, as he seeks to become the king of Krulod. His path leads to turmoil, as Kilgore's eventual decisions have disastrous consequences for the world of Androth, foreshadowing the events of Heroes of Might and Magic 4. Foolhardy Waywardness. This humorous side campaign follows a stranded knight, Christian, who's the hero that you control as the castle faction in Restoration of Erathia. He has to work with some smelly island goblins in order to get back home, playing with fire. After studying many years with the clerics of Stedwick, Adrienne returns home to Tatalia, only to find no living soul, only the stench of death. As she passes through town, she begins to suspect a necromancer is raising an army. After the end of the Restoration War, the necromancers and the undead went into hiding, but it appears that they have resurrected Lord Hart as a Death Knight. Adrienne knows that she must go deep into Tatalia if she is to remove the undead stain on her land. Adrienne cleared out all the necromancers from the land. Tatalia is now safe from the threat of the undead. However, she does not know if Lord Hart should be recognized as a hero or a villain. Shadow of Death. Sandro is a skilled warlock who seeks the power of the undead. He deceives 3 heroes into collecting several artifacts so that he can craft the cloak of the undead king and the armor of the damned. He has Craig Hack, a battle-hardened barbarian, procure the amulet of the Undertaker, the vampire's cowl, and the dead man's boots. He has Jem, a sorceress from the continent of Androth, gather the Staff of Knowledge and the Wizard's Hat. Yogg, a half-djinn, half-barbarian, who didn't quite fit in with the Wizards of Mercada and sought the life of a barbarian like his father. After escaping Mercada, he ran into Sandro, who got him to gather the skull helmet, the black card of the Dead Knight, the ribcage, and the shield of the Yawning Dead. Once the artifacts are gathered, Sandro sets in place many of the events that led to the beginning of the Heroes 3 main campaign, the Restoration of Erathia. He manipulates Lord Hart into the poisoning of King Nicholas Griffinheart, and then later the Necromancer of Deja resurrects him as an undead lich, otherwise known as a lich. Lord Hart is killed by Catherine and then later resurrected as a necromancer. Sandro is ultimately defeated by the heroes he manipulated, Craighack, Jam and Yogg, as well as a character prominently featured in Armageddon's Blade, Gelu. Heroes Chronicles. The storyline of 8 installments follows the history of the tragic immortal hero Tarnum. His initial rise and fall as a barbarian king is chronicled in the Warlords of the Wastelands installment. The second installment, Conquest of the Underworld, follows directly as Tarnum is reincarnated and given a mission to rescue the soul of King Ryan Griffinheart, the man who defeated him. Master of the Elements is a self-contained storyline in which Tarnum must prevent the destruction of the world of the Elemental Lords. Revolt of the Beastmaster details the creation of the Fortress faction of Heroes of Might and Magic 3, and the 2 downloadable titles, The World Tree and The Fiery Moon, are continuous storylines in which Tarnum must stop the mad ancestor Vor. The 4th and last installment, Clash of the Dragons and the Sword of Frost, serves as a sequel to Might and Magic 3, Armageddon's Blade, and sets up the events leading to Heroes of Might and Magic 4, where Tarnum reappears. Units. Big changes to the units here. Every unit can now be upgraded. Knight, your faction name is now Castle. Your pikeman has been downgraded to the weakest unit because the peasants were finally kicked out. I mean, they shouldn't have been made to fight anyway. The pikeman can be upgraded to the halberdier. Your archer can now be upgraded to the marksman. The Griffins have swapped teams and is now yours to command. It can be upgraded to the Royal Griffin. I guess it needed a castle. You got your good old swordsman that can now be upgraded to the Crusader, which used to be your most powerful creature, but a few other creatures have bumped it down. Starting with the Monk, That can be upgraded to the Zealot. The Cavalier. That can be upgraded to the Champion. And the Angel. That can be upgraded to the Archangel. Sorceress, you've been split into two different factions, starting with Rampart. The Centaur is now yours to command. Apparently the half-man, half-horse liked open fields of grass more than damp dungeons. Who could have guessed? It can now be upgraded to the Centaur Captain. Oh, and they're not archers anymore. You have the Dwarf. That can once again be upgraded to the Battle Dwarf. The Wood Elf. That can be upgraded to the Grand Elf. Sorry, I will not do it this time. The Pegasus. That can be upgraded to the Silver Pegasus. The Dendroid Guard. That can be upgraded to the Dendroid Soldier. The Unicorn. That can be upgraded to the War Unicorn. And the Green Dragon that fled the dungeon, so that it could be upgraded to the Gold Dragon. Your other faction is Conflux, where the Pixie is your weakest creature. It can be upgraded to the Sprite. Oh, so that's what that one meant. You have the Air Elemental. That can be upgraded to the Storm Elemental. The Water Elemental. That can be upgraded to the Ice Elemental. The Fire Elemental. That can be upgraded to the Energy Elemental. The Earth Elemental. That can be upgraded to the Magma Elemental. The Psychic Elemental. That can be upgraded to the Magic Elemental. And the Firebird. That can be upgraded to the Phoenix. Barbarian, your faction name is now Stronghold. You have access to the Goblin. That can be upgraded to Hobgoblin. The Wolf has gotten a Rider and become the Wolf Rider. Well, they shouldn't have let the peasant fight. Which can be upgraded to the Wolf Raider, which is totally different. The Orc. That can once again be upgraded to the Orc Chieftain. And the Ogre. That can be upgraded to the Ogre Maggie. Oh, in the green now, just like... You control the rock now. And it can be upgraded to the Thunderbird. The Cyclops. That can be upgraded to the Cyclops King. The Cyclops is no longer your most powerful creature, as the Behemoth. That can be upgraded to the Ancient Behemoth has taken its place. Warlock, your faction is now Dungeon. You had to replace the Centaur with a Troigoloid. which can be upgraded to the infernal troglodyte. Was it worth it? You had to replace the gargoyle with a harpy that can be upgraded to the harpy hag. You had to replace the griffin with the beholder, which can be upgraded to the evil eye. The Hydra has slithered away and the Medusa has slithered in. She can be upgraded to the Medusa Queen. The Minotaur is now your third most powerful creature, and it can once again be upgraded to the Minotaur King. You got the Manticore, which can be upgraded to the Scorpicore. You got the Red Dragon, that can be upgraded to your trusted most powerful creature, the Black Dragon. Necromancers. Your faction name is now Necropolis. You have access to the skeleton. Well, they shouldn't have let the peasant fight. That can be upgraded to the skeleton warrior. The Walking Dead. That can be upgraded to the zombie. No more zombie mutants. They found out that was a bad idea. The price of paper has increased in unravel, so the mummy is out and replaced with a wraith. It can be upgraded to the wraith, which died in a different color hoodie. The vampire can be upgraded to the vampire lord. The lich can be upgraded to the power lich. You got the new edition of the Black Knight that can be upgraded to the Dread Knight. And your Bone Dragon can now be upgraded to the Ghost Dragon. Wizards. Your faction name is now Tower. The halflings don't like towers, so they left you in favor of the gremlin. They can be upgraded to the Master Gremlin, just don't feed them after dark. The Gargoyle has joined you as a Stone Gargoyle and can be upgraded to the Obsidian Gargoyle. You got a Stone Golem that can be upgraded to an Iron Golem. Now that seems like a proper upgrade. You got your Mage that can be upgraded to the Archmage. You've lost your Rock but gained the Genie. And it can be upgraded to the Master Genie. You got a Naga that can be upgraded to the Naga Queen. And the Giant that can be upgraded to the Titan. Fortress is a new addition, and if you prefer this faction, you will have access to the Gnoll that can be upgraded to the Gnoll Marauder. The Lizard Man that can be upgraded to the Lizard Warrior. The Serpent Fly that can be upgraded to the Dragonfly. The Basilisk that can be upgraded to the Greater Basilisk. The Gorgon that can be upgraded to the Mighty Gorgon. The Wyvern that can be upgraded to the Wyvern Monarch. And here's where the Hydra ended up, swapping the Damp Dungeon for the Damp Swamp. It can be upgraded to the Chaos Hydra. Oh, and it has legs now. I guess that's what swamps do to you. It's getting hot in here. Hot as hell. Must be the Inferno faction with their imps that can be upgraded to the Familiar. The Gog that can be upgraded to the Magog. The Hellhound that can be upgraded to the Cerberus. The Demon that can be upgraded to the Horned Demon. Is that not horns on the demon's head then? The Pit Fiend. The Peasant Rebellion has been put down. That can be upgraded to the Pit Lord. The Efreeti that can be upgraded to the Efreet Sultan. And the Devil that can be upgraded to the Archdevil. How it ran. I was playing the original version of Heroes 3 and not the remastered version. It ran surprisingly well for such an old game, and it doesn't need an emulator to run. I had some problems, a few crashes here and there, so I would recommend playing the remastered version, but the original version has its charm.
All things comes an end. We are no more than a character in a story, our lives easily extinguished by an arrow or a stone. Turn the page and thousands die. And for what? For the pride of two leaders who are inexorably drawn together by the power of two swords and a mutual destiny. And then the sword of frost and Armageddon's blade clash. A blinding flash. Another turn of the page. The destruction brings earthquakes, volcanoes, floods, and deaths uncounted, and acts of bravery too. Just when it seems we are doomed, we flip the page once more, and countless fortunate refugees flee through portals into another world. Is this the end of our tale? No. We are the pawns of fate. There are still many pages to turn. And to all things comes a beginning.
The planet of Enroth has been destroyed in a cataclysm when the Armageddon's blade, wielded by Gelu, and the Sword of Frost, wielded by Kilgore, met on the battlefield. Portals are opened all across Enroth to bring the people to the world called Axioth, the prize of peace, faction, order. Emilia Nighthaven, a former noble of Erathia, leads refugees to safety after Enroth's destruction. She establishes the kingdom of Great Archon to bring peace to Axioth. However, a necromancer named Gavin Magnus, formerly the immortal king of Bracada in the old world, seeks to impose a false eternal peace through magical domination. Emilia gathers allies to oppose him, defeats his forces, and ultimately brings peace to a land, ensuring it is earned rather than imposed. Elwyn and Shira, faction Nature. Elwyn, an elf, is caught in a love triangle with the elven maiden Shira and the scheming Lord Hark. To win Shira's heart, Elwyn sets out on a campaign to prove his worth, rallying nature-aligned creatures to his cause. He ultimately defeats Lord Hark and earns Shira's love, solidifying his place as a hero among his people. Half-Dead, faction Death. Golduth, half-dead, a half-human, half-undead necromancer, struggles to find a place of balance between the living and the dead. He fights to establish a kingdom where both can coexist. Throughout his journey, Golduth faces opposition from both factions. He defeats his rivals and consolidates his power, becoming a ruler who advocates for coexistence between life and undeath, while also having a very difficult name to pronounce. A pirate's daughter, faction Chaos. Tourney Balfour, the daughter of a famous pirate, embarks on a journey to carve out her legacy. She defeats rival pirate factions, expands her influence, and ultimately becomes the ruler of the Gold Sea. The campaign highlights her cunning, ruthlessness, and determination to rise to power. Glory of days past. Faction Might. Wajak, the son of Tarnum, the immortal hero from previous games, leads the barbarian tribes in a campaign to restore the lost glory of his people. Along the way, Wajak unites scattered clans and fends off invaders, emerging as a powerful and respected leader of the barbarians. Expansions. The Gathering Storms. A powerful villain named Hexis is on the rise, twisting the laws of nature in order to make himself more powerful. We follow 5 heroes who get together in Devonshire to stop him. Bob with an H, the Archmage. I don't know if it's Bob or Bob. His story unfolds in the Master of Magic. Bob is an Archmage that knows every school of magic. He sets out to gather 5 artifacts of Navarre, the greatest of the Axonian Archmages. The artifacts are held by other mages, and Bob has to defeat them in order to acquire the artifacts. The Wayfaring Boots is held by Eradorn. The Archmage's Hat is held by Delnar. The Angel Feather Cloak is held by Alberon. The Ring of Flares is held by Raylon. And the Staff of Disruption is held by Cardonis. We also follow Croesus. In his campaign, opposites attract, who has to gather 3 artifacts of Order and Chaos. The Flame of Chaos, the Ice Scales, and the Necklace of Balance. In another Bard's Tale, we follow Agrinal, who must find Iphy's mandolin. We follow Dogwoggle, the Woggler of Dogs, in the Might Makes Right, as he tries to find the tiger armor and the tiger helmet. In a matter of life and death, we follow Alita Eventide, a dark priest specializing in both dark and light magic. Her quest is to find the Ring of Light and the Cloak of Darkness, so that she can bring the light and cloak the darkness. In the final campaign, named The Gathering Storms, all heroes unite to confront and defeat Hexis, saving Axioth from his apocalyptic ambitions. Winds of War. 5 nations are invading the kingdom of Channon for their own reasons. Spasmaticus, Chaos, the insane king of Aurelius, aiming for conquest. Baron von Tarkin, Death, the undead ruler of Khorasan, and the pretty obvious Star Wars reference. Tired of ruling the Khorasan wastelands, seeks to turn the kingdom of Channon into his subjugated army of the dead. Mysterio the Magnificent, Order, looking for the final piece of the puzzle to gain immortality. Erathia Revol, Nature, whose motives stem from resentment towards humans and restoring the land to its nature roots, and making the humans pay for their crimes against nature. Mungo, Might, a barbarian and the oldest nephew of King Bollingar, seeks to conquer the kingdom of Channon and lay claim to the lands that he will one day rule. His ultimate goal is the shining capital of Raylos. Final defense, Shannon's king Calvin defends his lands against the invaders in the final campaign, resulting in a climactic battle to determine the fate of the kingdom. You get to choose who will be victorious. Alternatively, who will fail in epic fashion because you forgot to build for 5 turns. The enemy hero is standing outside your base and all you have to fight back are 5 wolves. Guess the Kingdom of Shannon won't be turned back to nature today. The units have been spread around and mixed up. Like the first game, none of the units can be upgraded, and the units can move around by themselves. Neutral units in the open world can now attack you if you stand too close and it's not your turn, which makes things difficult if you have a hero that you need to protect but don't want to put any units on. It is the case in many of the campaign maps that you're given a hero that if they die it's game over, and you don't want to give him any units or train them at all because you know that they're not going to be available on the next map. They fixed this issue in Hero 6 and then reversed it in Hero 7. Heroes are now designated as a sort of unit, being able to move around the battlefield and attack. You can also fill your party with heroes if you so wish, and some players actually do play the game like that, because a well-trained hero is often more powerful than the units, especially the weaker units. Castle. Your faction name is now Life. Your weakest creature is now the crossbowman and the squire. Moving your standard range unit from the second slot to the first slot. It's probably because in the second slot you have a bigger range unit, the ballista, along with a pikeman who has now been upgraded. At level 3 you have the crusader, because none of the swordsmen made it to Axial. Along with a monk, because none of the zealots made it to Axial. Your most powerful creature are the angel, divine intervention peasant, and the champion. Conflux and Rampart. You've been fused again into the faction Nature. Your weakest units are the sprite, the centaur, and the dwarf has left you, but the wolf, not wanting to be ridden anymore by goblins, have joined you. In the second slot you have the elf and the new addition of the white tiger. Third slot you have the griffin, who's no longer royal and doesn't need a castle. And you got your trusty old unicorn. Your most powerful creatures are the fairy dragon and the phoenix. Stronghold. Your faction name is now Might. You have access to the Berserker, who kind of just does his own thing, you can't actually control him, and the Centaur, who can't decide what faction to belong to, so it has joined you. To see if the pastures are actually greener on the other side. I think it might have been greener where it came from. In the second slot, you have the harpy that's left the dungeon and spread his wings in the barren fields. It is joined by the nomad. In the third slot, you have the cyclops. And is that Shrek, the ogre mage? Your most powerful creatures are the behemoth and the thunderbird, moving the thunderbird from the third most powerful to the most powerful. Oh, and it's blue now. I guess blue is more powerful than yellow. dungeon. Your faction name is now
Chaos.
You have access to the bandits and the orc that has left Stronghold and joined you instead, choosing
Chaos
over might. In the second slot you have the Medusa. Oh, and it has legs now, which makes it look very weird. And the Minotaur. Third slot is the Erathia, choosing
Chaos
over death. And the Nightmare. Your most powerful creatures is your good old black dragon and look who's back, it's the Hydra. Oh, and it's lost 2 of his legs now. I guess that's what
Chaos
do to you. Necropolis and Inferno, you've been fused into the faction known as Death. In the first slot you have the Imp and the Skeleton. In the second slot you have the Cerberus and the Ghost. Third slot is your Vampire and your Venom Spawn.
We are Venom.
And your most powerful creature is the Bone Dragon. And the Devil. Tower, your faction name is now Order. The dwarf has left the woods and joined you in the freezing mountains, along with the halfling, which is back after a long quest to a burning mountain. In the second slot you have the Gold Golem. Look at you flaunting your wealth. And the Mage. In the third slot you have the Genie and the Naga. And your most powerful creatures is the Dragon Golem and the Titan. This is the black sheep among Heroes of Might and Magic games. The developers took the formula of the much more successful Heroes 3 and threw it in a bin. After the release of this game, 3DO went bankrupt and the IP was sold to Ubisoft. The game is clunky, the music by default is way too loud and it sounds a little bit off. It is a big departure from the Heroes 3 music, but having played through all the games I see that it's kind of similar to Heroes 2. This game had a lot of problems, crashes, freezes and lag spikes. It's probably the game that has had the least amount of support after its release. I would not recommend playing this game, but I know that some people love it, or they wouldn't have made the Lost Tales of Axioth in Hero 7. Welcome to the world of Ashan. This is the setting of the next 3 games in the series, created by Ubisoft. In the beginning, there was void and magic. Magic formed itself into the cosmic egg, and then later hatched into the primordial twin dragon gods, Asha and Urgash. Asha is the dragon god of order. She created the world and hatched 6 elemental dragons to rule over it. Malassa, the dragon of darkness, worshipped by the Dungeon faction. Elrath, the dragon of light, worshipped as a sun god by the Haven faction. Arkath, the dragon of fire, worshipped by the Fortress faction. Shalassa, the water dragon, worshipped by the Sanctuary faction. Silana, the earth dragon, worshipped by the Sylvan faction and the Stronghold faction as Mother Earth, and Yulaf the Air Dragon, worshipped as Father Sky by the Stronghold faction. He used to be worshipped by the humans, but they changed their deity to the Dragon of Light under the influence of the angels. Urgash is the dragon god of chaos and the progenitor of the demons. There is also a seventh dragon, Sa-Alem, the first wizard, who went on a mythical quest to the spirit world and encountered the consciousness of her Shah. She then bestowed upon him the knowledge of the nature of matter, spirit, and the higher path of power. Enlightened by his new understanding, Sa-Alem ascended to dragonhood. Sa-Alem's ascension started a new age in the world of Ashan, the historical age, the year of the seventh dragon. He later sacrificed himself to repel the demon incursion.
Feeling nervous, my dear?
A bit. Mostly I feel silly in this dress.
Isabel, we're here to celebrate, not to climb trees in your orchard. Besides, you look radiant. Elrath himself smiles on the Griffin Empire today.
We are gathered here today to witness the marriage of our beloved sovereign, Nikolai, King of our Holy Empire, to our fair lady, Isabel, Jewel of the Greyhound Duchy.
Uncle! Take Isabel to safety!
No! Nikolai!
Come, lady, quickly!
Behind you!
The city is under siege. We must retreat to the Summer Palace.
No! I can't leave him!
Come, this is war, and you are not a warrior.
I wish I was, Godric. Perhaps I should be.
Heroes of Might and Magic 5, or retroactively Might and Magic Heroes 5. The Queen, Haven campaign. Queen Isabel of the Holy Griffin Empire prepares to marry her beloved Nikolai. On the day of the wedding, demonic forces from Sheog invade, prompting Nikolai to lead the Empire's army into battle. Nikolai is killed, and the grieving Isabel becomes a puppet of the scheming court wizard Makal, who manipulates her into using necromancy to resurrect Nikolai. This sets off a chain of events that destabilizes the kingdom. The Cultist / the Warlock, Inferno and Dungeon campaign. Agriel is a demon lord serving Karbaleth, the demon sovereign. While infiltrating the Griffin Empire during his mission to monitor Queen Isabel, Agriel develops deep feelings for her. She is at this point a child, or she is at least referred to as a child, and Raylag is hundreds of years old. I don't know if she's just being referred to as a child, even though she's of age. But I don't know when Raylag infiltrated the Griffin Empire.
I watched her grow up, almost from birth.
By Asher's 8 heads.
What the hell, Raylag? So Isabel's and Raylag's relationship does have an essence of grooming, and I don't think this story would fly today. Alright, that was creepy. Let's get back to the story, which conflicts with his loyalty to Kabbaleth. When ordered to hunt Isabel, Agriel's love for her drives him to betray the demon sovereign. Seeking redemption and freedom from his demonic nature, Agriel turns to Tiru, a druid who performs a ritual to strip away his demonic essence and restore him to his true self as Raylag. Reborn, Raylag abandons the Inferno faction, and to a trial to gather forces and then fight in a tournament, becomes the leader of the Dark Elves. Again, he proceeds to protect Isabel and foils Kabbaleth's plans. He defeats the demon-worshipping Soulscar clan, vowing to never let demons control Dark Elves again. In his Inferno campaign, Agriel is assisted and later betrayed by a succubus called Biara. She later joins him as Shada in his dungeon campaign and later betrays him again. She does that. The Necromancer, Necropolis campaign. Obviously. Markal, a former apprentice of Sandro, seizes control of Isabel and uses her grief to advance his necromantic schemes. He amasses an army of the undead and unleashes devastation across Ashan. However, his plans are thwarted when other factions unite against him, exposing his betrayal and manipulation of Isabel. The Ranger, Sylvan campaign. The undead forces of Markal is on the border of Ireland. Between the elves and the undead are a human settlement. Findan, a Sylvan elf, has to protect the forest, but he can't start a war with the humans by crossing the border. So he gathers an army and waits. Eventually the undead attack, and Findan crushes the invading forces. Along the way he uncovers the involvement of demonic forces and vows to protect the natural balance of Ashan. The campaign ends with Findan defeating Nikolai, who has been turned into a vampire lord.
I am
Excited?
afraid.
Why? I see nothing to worry about.
Nikolai! Nikolai!
What have you done?
The Mage Academy campaign. Zahir, a young mage and the son of Cyrus, who killed Markal's former master Sandro, gathers a coalition of forces to confront both Kabbaleth's demonic forces and the corruption spreading through Ashan. Zahir discovers that Godric is held prisoner by Markal. Zahir frees Godric, then is joined by Findan and they defeat Markal. And Zahir burns him to make sure that he can't resurrect.
Well, I guess you'll just have to kill me. Send me to the afterlife. You know, that's the best news I've had in weeks.
Stop! Wait!
What's all this noise?
Just making sure
Of what?
that he at least won't be resurrected.
There are certain advantages to having a talented archmage on the team.
Isabel is imprisoned in Sheog by Kabbaleth, and Zahir, along with Godric, Raylag and Findan, travel to Sheog to free her. The campaign concludes with the defeat of Kabbaleth's forces and the freeing of Isabel, but the fight might not be over yet.
Praise the light that we have made it back safely.
I think the Talengard Cathedral will need new doors. I think what the Talengard Cathedral really needs is a new priesthood. And you as our new god, my lord.
Come, Isabel. We have much work to do.
You can't imagine the half of it, Godric. I'd like to get started immediately.
Hammers of Fate. Haven campaign. Something isn't quite right with Isabel. She has sent out daughter of Godric Unicorn, Freyda, who has been promoted to Lord High Constable of the Griffin armies on a mission to clear out demons from the Empire, dealing with rebels and recapturing Prince Andre, Nikolai's nephew, who has been taken by Lord Cladwell and Archbishop Randall to the border grounds of Ireland. Isabel has sent out 2 companions to help Freyda out and maybe keep her in line. Laszlo, who's the most devious bastard in all of the Griffin Empire. And Alric, who follows Isabel's more and more extreme orders without question. She learns that Andre is held in the Stag Duchy, so she goes there, defeats the head of the Stag Duchy, Duncan Stag, and imprisons him. She's told that Duncan has sent Andre to the dwarves, so her next mission is to go and speak with the dwarves. Freda's orders become more and more extreme. Her Red Church soldiers are ordered to burn down peasant villages, believing they are full of demon cultists. Freda has been contemplating deserting throughout the campaign, but her father's imprisonment by Isabel and the threats to his life has prevented her. Freda travels to the dwarven city of Tor Haral to hold an audience with the dwarves. There she's met by Wulfstan and Rolf. During the negotiations, Laszlo, the most devious bastard in all of the Griffin Empire, attacks the dwarves, and Freda has no choice but to flee. Rolf wants her captured, but Wulfstan wants to let her go. Chased by the dwarven forces of Rolf, she flees down the mountain, gathers an army, and frees Duncan Stag. She travels to Talangard, intending to free her father, but finds him severely injured. Angels surround him, and Godric dies in her arms. Elrath speaks to her and grants her a gift. She screams Laszlo's the most devious bastard in all of the Griffin Empire's name, and a godly spell strikes him down. Dungeon Campaign. Elia was a keeper of law of the Shadowbrand clan. Trouble rose when the Dark Elves began dissolving after Rayleg's mysterious disappearance. She spied and found out that Trelassai and Shada were the ones that wanted the Soulscar clan, the demon worshippers, revived. She went to search for Rayleg and found that he was with Isabel, the real Isabel. Turns out the one leading the Griffin Empire is an imposter. They joined together and defeated Thralsai. Rayleg wants to search for Isabella's child, while Elia and Isabella wants to liberate Horncrest and find shelter. Elia promises to fight Biara, who's the one impersonating Isabel, and her plans. Fortress Campaign. Wulfstan starts a rebellion against his brother and King Tolgar after a disagreement about capturing Freda and delivering her to the Red Church. Wulfstan doesn't want anything to do with the Red Church, so his rebellion soon turns to a fight against them. With the help of Duncan Stag, he takes Horncrest. When the border crossing between the Stag Duchy and the land of the dwarves is crossed, and the armies of Duncan Stag, Wulfstan, Elia, Freda, and the real Isabel are gathered, the Red Church forces flee, leaving King Tolgar to fend for himself. He is defeated and killed by Wulfstan, who becomes the king under the mountain. But where is Wulfstan's brother Rolf in all this? We'll get back to that. Tribes of the East. The expansion starts with a prologue following Korak as he liberates Orc slaves from the Griffin Empire. He's attacked by Alric, who fatally wounds him. He dies, leaving the liberated clans without a war chief. We leave the Orcs for now, checking in with the Necromancers. We follow a young and beautiful woman and Countess of the Bull Duchy, Ornella of the Griffin Empire, who found interest in the art of dark magic. With a friend, Lord Giovanni, she assaults the Maids of the Silver Cities and is rewarded with a lesson in necromancy and becomes a worshipper of Asha. Later she is sent to unlock the portal of Illuma Nadine, a castle held by demon-worshipping wizards. Lord Malfoy has trapped the wizards inside the castle grounds by sealing the only way out. He is furious when Giovanni and Ornella turn up. Having broken the seal, Ornella has to cleanse the castle of demons, and once that is done, Giovanni presents it as a gift to his master, Anatir, the High Lord of Heresh. Anatir is impressed by Ornella and offers her the opportunity to become a necromancer. He teleports himself, Ornella and Giovanni to a cliff where a ritual is going to be performed on Ornella. During the ritual, Giovanni tries to attack Anatir, but Anatir stops him, turns him to dust, after telling him to put his foolish ambitions to rest. Foul tarnished. Giovanni is killed, but the High Lord believes that Ornella is innocent and gives her the opportunity to prove her dedication to the Spider Goddess. She is transformed into a vampire and she aids her new master against the demon cultists in Horesh and the Holy Griffin Empire, led by Demon Lord Orlando. She meets her final death in the city of Flamshrine, where she sacrifices herself along with a group of other necromancers for the sake of a ritual needed to open a magical garrison. We also follow Lord Erathia, who learns of demon corruption in the Silver Cities. He seeks to liberate the Silver Cities from the demons. Once the cities have been cleansed, he is attacked by Alric, but Lord Erathia, with the help of orcs, defeats and kills him. Gotai is Korrak's adoptive son. When Korrak was killed by Alric, Gotai swore to find and kill him. With Kunji's advice, he went into a contest and won, becoming the orcs' leader. He crossed the cities of the Griffin Empire and destroyed them for the time of slavery. This attracted Alric, who went to hunt him. Eventually Gotai came to the Silver Cities and visited Kunjak's grave at the Shahibtai and faced Alric. Alric was defeated, and Kengi, a goblin who had helped Gotai throughout his campaign, suggested Alric could have an honourable death. Alric mistook Kengi for a demon and struck him down. Gotai was furious and killed Alric in return, ending his revenge. Kengi is apparently one of the only goblins the orcs care about, but we'll get back to that. Eventually he and Kunji spoke with Zahir. He gave them Kunjak's staff, and with Zahir's story about battling with Karbaleth, they joined the fight at Talengard. With their forces and others, Biara was killed. Gotai and Kunji came back to the orcs, where Gotai continued to rule the clan. Oh, and at some point, during Zahir's campaign, him and Wolfstan go to look for Arkath, the dragon god of fire, and Wolfstan has to kill his brother Rolf. So that's where Rolf ended up. Units. All the units can be upgraded again. Life. Your faction name is now Haven. The peasants are back. Well, you should now make the peasants fight. They can be upgraded to either the conscript, because if they don't want to fight, give them some chainmail and a helmet and force them to. Well, I'll be. Good job. Or the brute. The archer is now in the second slot again. It can be upgraded to the marksman. Or the crossbowman. In your third slot you have the footman. That can be upgraded to the most impressive looking squire. Or the vindicator. The Griffins are back after getting lost in nature for a bit and more powerful now, taking the fourth slot. It can be upgraded to the Imperial Griffin. Or the Battle Griffin. In the fifth slot you got a priest. That can be upgraded to an Inquisitor. Or a Zealot. Your second most powerful unit is the Cavalier. That can be upgraded to the Paladin, which has a horse now. Or the Champion. Your most powerful creature is once again the Angel, and the women now. Divine Intervention, peasant. They can be upgraded to the Archangel. or the Seraph. Nature. Your faction name is now Sylvan. You've got a pixie. That can be upgraded to the Sprite. Or the Dryad. You got the Blade Dancer. That can be upgraded to the War Dancer. Or the Wind Dancer. Your range unit is now the Hunter. That can be upgraded to the Master Hunter. Or the Arcane Hunter. You got your Druid back. And it can be upgraded to the Druid Elder. Or the High Druid. As always, you got your Unicorn. That can be upgraded to the Silver Unicorn. Or the Pristine Unicorn. You got a living tree again. Well, a living tree that can move. It's the Treant. It can be upgraded to the Ancient Treant. Or the Savage Treant. Your most powerful creature is the Green Dragon, which chose to sit the previous game out. That can be upgraded to the Emerald Dragon. Or the Crystal Dragon. And all your units except the Treant, the Pixie, the Dragon and the Unicorn are elves. Might, you're Stronghold again. And the Goblin is back. Ooh, that's unfortunate. He had a family and a dog. Who's going to take care of the dog now? And the family? I guess his upgraded brother, the Goblin Trapper, can do it. Well, not him then. Okay. Well, I guess his upgraded cousin, the Goblin Witch Doctor, has to step in. Does he have any family left now? The Centaur has finally found its place. It has brought out its bow again and been rewarded with a more powerful second slot. Oh, and it has horns now. Well, they shouldn't have let the peasant fight. It can be upgraded to the Centaur Nomad. Or the Centaur Marauder. In the third slot you have the Warrior. That can be upgraded to the Mauler. Or the Warmonger. You have the Shaman. That can be upgraded to the Sky Daughter. Oh, and look, she has horns. And the Earth Daughter, who is also quite horny. You You have the Slayer, who can be upgraded to the Executioner, or the Chieftain. The Wyvern has left the swamp and is now yours to command. It can be upgraded to the Foul Wyvern. Or the Paukai. Your strongest creature is once again the Cyclops, finally taking back his spot at the top from the Behemoth. It can be upgraded to the Untamed Cyclops, or the Blood-Eyed Cyclops. Oh, and except for the Cyclops, the Goblin, the Wyvern, and the Centaur, all your units are now Orcs.
Chaos.
Your dungeon again. You have access to the Scout. That can be upgraded to the Assassin or Stalker. You have the Blood Maiden. That can be upgraded to the Blood Fury. Or the Blood Sister. You have the Mighty Minotaur. That can be upgraded to the Minotaur Guard. Or the Minotaur Taskmaster. Also, it had a habit of biting people, so it has to wear a mouth guard. You got a Dark Rider. We're just riding a dinosaur. Which can be upgraded to the Grim Rider. Or the Brisk Rider. They're also riding dinosaurs. How cool is that? You got your Hydra. Oh look, it has 4 legs now. Snap, snap. It can be upgraded to the Deep Hydra. Or the Foul Hydra. Your second most powerful unit is the Shadow Witch. That can be upgraded to the Shadow Matriarch. Or the Shadow Mistress. Your most powerful creature is once again a dragon, the Shadow Dragon. Which can be upgraded to the Black Dragon. Or the Red Dragon. Oh, and except for the Hydra, the Dragon, and the Minotaur, all your units are Dark Elves. Death. You've been split into 2 factions again, starting with Necropolis. You've got access to the Skeleton. That can be upgraded to the Skeleton Archer. Or the Skeleton Warrior. You got the Zombie. That can be upgraded to the Plague Zombie. or the rot zombie. You got a ghost, the most annoying unit in the game. That can be upgraded to the Spectre. Or the Poltergeist. You got your Vampire. That can be upgraded to the Vampire Lord. Or the Vampire Prince. Are you serious? It was a J.R.J. joke. You got the Lich. That can be upgraded to the Archlich. Or the Lich Master. Your second most powerful unit is the Wraith, moving it from the third weakest to the second strongest. It can be upgraded to the Wraith. Or the Banshee. Your most powerful creature, as always, is the Bone Dragon. Which can be upgraded to the Spectral Dragon. Or the Ghost Dragon. You are what seems the most consistent when it comes to units. The second faction you've been split into is Inferno. You got access to the Imp. That can be upgraded to the Familiar. Or the Vermin. You got your Horned Demon back. It's now your second weakest creature. It can be upgraded to the Horned Overseer. Or the Horned Grunt. You got your good old boy, the Hellhound. That can be upgraded to the Cerebus. Or the Firehound, because it couldn't be the only creature without a second option. You got a Succubus. That can be upgraded to the Succubus Mistress. I swear to God, the scorch mark on the pillar was always there. Or the Succubus Seducer. I personally do not find the burning scalp and horns to be very seductive, but that's just me. The Burning Horse has joined you in the form of the Hell Charger. That can be upgraded to the Nightmare. Or the Hell Stallion. The Pit Fiend is now your second most powerful creature. It can cast fireballs now, and it looks a little bit more impressive, not like a colonial slaver with horns. It can be upgraded to either the Pit Lord or the pit spawn. Your most powerful creature is the devil. That can be upgraded to the archdevil. Or the archdemon. Seems like an obvious choice. Order. Your new faction name is Academy. The gremlins are back and it has a gun! Which is probably how it kicked out the halfling. It can be upgraded to either the Master Gremlin, the master of being a gremlin, or the Gremlin Saboteur. You've got the Stone Gargoyle. That can be upgraded to the Obsidian Gargoyle. Or the Elemental Gargoyle. You've got the Iron Golem. That can be upgraded to the Steel Golem. The main difference between iron and steel is that the former is a naturally occurring element, while the latter is an alloy of iron and carbon. Or you can upgrade your golem to a magnetic golem. Just leave any metal pieces at home. You have the mage. That can be upgraded to the archmage. Or the battle mage. The Jinn. That can be upgraded to the Jinn Sultan. Or the Jinn Vizier. Your second most powerful creature is no longer the Naga, but the Rashaka Rani. But when it's upgraded to the Rashaka Raja, or the Rashaka Castra, like the Naga, it's got more than a normal amount of arms, which is 2 for anyone wondering. Your most powerful unit is the Colossus, which for some magical reason can walk out of sync with the sound of its footsteps. That can be upgraded to the Titan. Or the Storm Titan. Fortress, you're back in Heroes 5, but in name only. When the wizards decided to become desert wizards, the dwarves stayed in the freezing mountains, working on their Scottish accent, which got progressively better between the first and the third game. Starting out as Scottish, and ending up with "Aye Scottish, you wee donkey." You've got the Defender, that can be upgraded to the Shield Guard, or the Mountain Guard. One is guarding a shield, the other is guarding a mountain. You got a Spear Wielder, that can be upgraded to the Skirmisher, or the Harpooner. Curse you, Bale! You got a Bear Rider, that can be upgraded to the Black Bear Rider. Stop resisting! Or the White Bear Rider. I'm gonna let you off with a warning. You have a really nice day, sir. You got the Brawler. That can be upgraded to the Berserker. Or the Battle Rager. You got the Ruined Priest. That can be upgraded to the Ruined Patriarch. Or the Ruined Keeper. Your second most powerful unit is the Thane. That can be upgraded to the Flame Lord, who's very active on internet forums. Or the Thunder Thane. You've got a Fire Dragon. That can be upgraded to the Magma Dragon. Or the Lava Dragon. The only thing that makes the Magma and the Lava Dragon more powerful than the Fire Dragon is that they look cooler. Get it? Cooler. But throw some water on them and they'll turn into the Stone Dragon, with its signature ability, stand still and do nothing. Heroes 5 came out in 2006, meaning that it's getting up there in age. And with age comes problems. I had a few problems running it, a few crashes there and there, lag spikes if I positioned the camera in the wrong way, and a few bugs. One bug that caused me to not get the final cinematic of the main campaign. Also, some of the final missions in the games are very difficult, even on easy. One in particular, you have a bunch of heroes with pre-built armies that have to fight demon armies when you complete different missions on your main hero, which is Sahir in this campaign. These heroes rush in and attack a base. You get to control them when they're in combat. The demon armies are a lot stronger and I could not get past this campaign, so I watched a playthrough of it. Well, the important part of a playthrough. I didn't watch the whole thing because it was hours long. Oh no. Oh no. This is the wrong game. This is the wrong game. Ow! Hey, we're in the wrong game.
I hereby vow you will rue this day.
Bale the Dread. An obvious reference to Belarion the Black Dread from the same writer who worked on Elden Ring, George Rudolph Reindeer Martin. Are you shooting another video? Reference to Moby Dick. He even has his own Captain Ahab in Igon. He's lost his wings, one of his legs, and looks pretty messed up. That's because he was in a fight with another dragon, Placidusax. If you fought Placidusax, you know that he's also pretty messed up, having lost two of his heads. You can actually see the detached heads chomping down on Bale's neck. Okay, let's see if I remember this correctly. I need to go to Ballarat. Okay, now we're at Ballarat. This should work. I need to stand completely still for 5 seconds. Alright, let's go. Oh, that's a heavy door. Oh, good. Might and Magic Heroes 6. Family drama and an impending demon invasion, set 400 years in the past. The story starts with a prologue following Duke Slava. He is sent out to investigate the rumors of demon sightings. Shortly into his investigation, he finds demons fighting a group of orcs led by Warchief Kroll. He comes to the orcs' aid and suggests an alliance to fight against the demons. After all, the orcs were made to fight demons. The orcs are looking for Togrul, an orc shaman who killed Duke Pavel, Duke Slava's father, by summoning demons. Togrul has turned into a demon and is now back in the Griffin lands. He has imprisoned Kral's shaman Yula. They find and kill Togrul, sending him back to Sheog. Slava rewards Kral by employing him as his master of arms. Some time has passed and Duke Gerhard of the Wolf Duchy has been authorized by Emperor Liam Falcon, head of the Falcon Empire, to expel the orcs from the duchies. Gerhard begins pursuing the orcs in the Griffin territory, led by Warchief Kral, Slava's friend. Slava rushes to the defense of his friends, heedless of the official decree from the Emperor. Slava defeats Gerhard and soon after, Emperor Liam arrives, followed by Archangel Uriel. Uriel chastises both dukes for expending valuable troops on a petty squabble when an eclipse and therefore a demon invasion is imminent. Uriel resolved the dispute by ordering Gerhard to withdraw his troops from the Griffin Duchy and ordering Slava to give the hand of his eldest daughter, Irina, in marriage to Gerhard when she comes of age.
It all went wrong the day our father, the Duke of Griffin, died. Irina was sold to a cruel lord, Sandor, forced into exile, and Kirill lost his soul. Father's death was not an accident. Anastasia, our beloved sister, stabbed him in the heart. I am the Duke now. And I am alone. The shadow of death is upon us, cursing our entire family. Pitting brother against sister. But our struggle is just a single drop in a chalice of tears and blood. An ancient storm is rising.
Slava has been killed, and we follow his 5 children: Anastasia, Anton, Kirill, Sandor, and Irina. Anastasia has just been killed, after she stabbed her father, the Duke of Griffin, to death. Anton returned the favor, stabbing Anastasia. Later, Anastasia is revived by her aunt, Sveltana. Anastasia needs to learn how to become a necromancer and find out who made her kill her father. She suspects it's either the demons or the faceless. Turns out it was Uriel, the angel she was in love with. You see, the children of the Griffin Duchy are primed to become angel vessels, and Uriel was priming Anastasia to become the vessel of his mother, which isn't weird at all. When Anastasia finds out, she goes and finds Uriel and kills him. Anton needs to secure his place as the Duke of the Griffin. He goes around killing orcs that his father let stay in his duchy because they don't support the correct dragon. They support the dragon of air, Erathia, that used to be supported by the Griffin Duchy, but they changed it to the dragon of light. He wants to purge everybody who doesn't support Elrath from his duchy. Later, he learns to accept the faith of others. Demons invade, Gerhard and Liam Falcon are killed, and a massive demon named Erebon assaults the Falcon Emperor's capital, Falcon's Reach. And Anton needs to stop him before he can breach the capital. And if you build a big enough army, he does just that. Kirill's soul has been fused with the demon Azkal by the angel Sarah. He finds himself laying on a table in Sheog, the demon fighting for control of his mind, urging him to give in to Urgash. Two succubi approach the table, Zana and Deva. They help him on his quest to find and kill Sarah, and find a way to unfuse his soul. His first bet is the Mother Namtaru. He attacks her and tries to force out of her how to unfuse his soul. She tells him that the answers he seeks is hidden in the invisible library, but he has to destroy it using a legendary sword. He finds the sword, then goes in search of the invisible library, and finds Sarah on the way. He defeats her, but rather than killing her, he tries to convince her to unfuse his soul. She tells him that she can't, and that the only way to do it is to destroy the invisible library, and that he's the weapon that was made to do it. So he continues to look for it. Eventually he finds it, but rather than destroying it, which would free all its inhabitants, he teleports it to Sheog. Sandor has to free his sister Arena from the Wolf Duchy. Once that is done, he travels to an island with Kroll and becomes the head of an orc clan by defeating an orc that is enslaving other orcs. Then the Naga invade his newfound kingdom. After a misunderstanding, they settle their differences, but there is no rest for Sandor as the demons invade. He crushes their forces. The demon invasion disturbed an abyssal worm who starts eating the cities around Sandor's kingdom, and he has to kill the worm. Then he alludes to going back to the Griffin Duchy to help his family out, setting himself up for you to maybe pick him for the final campaign. Irina was freed by Sandor. She was left on an island called Hashima, where she meets a Naga who helps keep her safe from the Wolf Duchy soldiers. Later she becomes the daimyo of Hashima after defeating the previous daimyo, Hiroshi. The Naga begins to refer to her as Daimyo Jubo. She finds out she's pregnant, carrying Gerhard's child. She later becomes the leader of the Wolf Duchy after her child Alexander is born. Once the main campaign is done, you can either help Archangel Michael defeat the sibling's mother Kate, who's a Dragon Knight, or you can help Kate defeat Michael. No matter what you do, Kate dies, giving you an illusion of choice, but not really giving you a choice. Expansions. Pirates of the Savage Seas. Craig Hack has to kill a Thunderbird that's causing havoc. Then he has to fight pirate hunters, one of whom is his son, and search for the sword of the Pirate King. Then he himself becomes the Pirate King. Dance Macabre. You help Sandro find the mask of the Force Face, setting up his return in Shades of Darkness. Raylag doesn't want to rule his clan, but he's forced into it. He has to compete with his brothers Menon and Silsai in a tournament to gain the favour of the children of Melassa. He wins the tournament, imprisons Silsai, who worked with the demons, something the Dark Elves have a habit of doing. Then he finds Atira Vashan to bring back Melassa, the dragon god of darkness. And then he has to find the invisible library. He finds it, seemingly kills Kirill. The library becomes the Dark Elves' new home, because they didn't have one to begin with, and it turns out that Kirill didn't die. In fact, he wanted Raylag to kill him. Kirill schemes with his succubis about maybe having to help Raylag take down Kabbaleth, but nothing comes of it, and likely never will. It's not brought up in the next game, and Heroes Olden Era is set on Enroth, not Ajan. It might have been foreshadowing for Heroes 5, but Kirill wasn't in Heroes 5, and it doesn't really seem like there's a moment in Heroes 5 where Kirill could have helped Raylag. So if this was a setup for the story in Heroes 5, it seems like a very poor setup. The game ends with a final campaign following Lord Vane. The undead have been affected by a plague. It seems to affect the younger undead more than the older ones. Lord Vane doesn't seem affected at all, and Anastasia talks him into finding a cure, as she's too sick to do anything. She's one of the younger undead, turned after the discovery of the Mother Nantaru, unlike Vayne. The modern Amtaru has been cursed, and a dark angel named Balkath is working on a cure, and Vayne has to find him and aid him in speeding up the process. Balkath is unable to find a cure, but he finds out that the sickness has traces of void magic. Vayne immediately suspects Sandro is behind the plague. Sandro has been known to play around with void magic. Vayne and Balkath doesn't know enough about void magic, so they seek answers in the invisible library of the Faceless. When they arrive, they find bodies displayed in a way that Vayne used to display his slain enemies. Vayne suspects that somebody is impersonating him to make things more difficult. They have to fight the Dark Elves, as they believe that Vayne has been slaying them to get into the library. Eventually they manage to convince the Dark Elves to stand down. They find out that it is in fact Sandro who's behind everything. He has taken something from the library, but the Faceless can't remember what he took. Sandro has used void magic to erase their memories. While Balkath gives up on trying to discover what they forgot, Vayne remains to find out. Eventually, thanks to his efforts, he discovers that the only way to heal the Mother Nantaru, and therefore the plague, was to have her transported to the spirit world, the realm of Asha's memories, to help her remember all the horrors of the wars of creation. Once Vayne has helped her remember, and therefore cured her and the curse, he confronts the Avatar of the Void summoned by Sandro in an epic final battle. After the battle is done, Vayne vows to find Sandro and put an end to him. Units. This is the game that deviates the most from the standard units, introducing some new factions and cutting some old ones that has been in the game since Heroes 2 and 3. And 1 if you don't count Sanctuary as a replacement for the Sorceress faction. Haven. Your units are the Sentinel, that can be upgraded to the Praetorian. The Crossbowmen, that can be upgraded to the Marksman, which also has a crossbow. The Sister, that can be upgraded to the Vestral. The Griffins, that can be upgraded to the Imperial Griffins. The Radiant Glory, that can be upgraded to the Blazing Glory. The Sun Rider, is that not a horse? Or is the sun riding a horse? I'm confused. That can be upgraded to the Sun Crusader. The Seraph, that can be upgraded to the Celestial. Can they not be called angels anymore? This version of Haven seems less grounded than the previous iteration of the faction. It started out with just humans and one very large human, and now it has Sun Riders and Blazing Glories. Sylvan, you've been replaced by another nature faction known as Sanctuary, heavily based on Asian aesthetics and mythology. That was extremely popular back in 2011-2012. I'm not saying that it is less popular now, but it seems like a lot of games were going for that aesthetic at that time. Your units are the Shark Guard. That can be upgraded to the Vizime. Bum 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 bum. The Coral Priestess. That can be upgraded to the Pearl Priestess. The Kappa. That can be upgraded to the Kappa Soya. The Spring Spirit. That can be upgraded to the Mizukami. The Snow Maiden. That can be upgraded to the Yuki Una. The Kenshi. That can be upgraded to the Kansei. And the Kirin. That can be upgraded to the Sacred Kirin. Stronghold. You've got the Mauler. That can be upgraded to the Crusher. The Goblin is now in the second slot, up from the first slot. It can be upgraded to the Goblin Hunter, and they're less disposable now. Or they were less disposable, as this game is set in the past. The Harpy has joined you again. And it can be upgraded to the Fury. You got the Dreamwalker. That can be upgraded to the Dream Weaver. You got a Centaur in his most powerful female form. Girl power, am I right? I'm an ally. Hey, love me. They can be upgraded to the Centaur Marauder. You got the Jaguar Warrior. That can be upgraded to the Panther Warrior. Fun fact, Jaguars and Panthers are not different cats, so the Jaguar Warrior doesn't really get an upgrade. Sucks to be you, Jaguar Warrior. You could have picked any other cat. A tiger? A lion? Or the common house cat, the most dangerous of the cats? Once again, the Cyclops is your most powerful creature. It can be upgraded to the Enraged Cyclops, whose secret is it's always angry. Dungeon. Your units are the Assassin. That can be upgraded to the Shade. The Stalker, who's women now, because women can be stalkers too, equality. She can be upgraded to the Chakram Dancer. The Shadow Lurker. That can be upgraded to the Shadow Watcher. Hey Shadow Watcher, concentrate, you can make shapes later.
But I want to make them now. Fine. Shapes.
The Manticore is back. And it can once again be upgraded to the Scorpicore. Oh, and it's been bumped down a few slots. You've got the Faceless. That can be upgraded to the Faceless Puppeteer. You got the most powerful version of the Minotaur, taking the spot second to the top. It can be upgraded to the Minotaur God, and it didn't need a mouth guard, or the Dark Elves of the past were okay with Minotaurs biting them. Maybe they even liked it. Or maybe it's that weird laugh. The most powerful creature is the Shadow Dragon. That can be upgraded to the Black Dragon. Necropolis. Your units are the Skeleton. That can be upgraded to the Skeletal Spearman. You got the Ghoul instead of the slow lumbering zombie. It can be upgraded to the Ravenous Ghoul. You got your ghost in its less annoying form. It can be upgraded to the Spectre. You've got the Lich. That can be upgraded to the Arch Lich. You've got the Lamassu. That can be upgraded to the Putrid Lamassu. You got the Vampire in its most powerful form, taking the second slot to the top. It can be upgraded to the Vampire Lord. You've no longer got the Bone Dragon, it's been replaced by the Fate Spinner. That can be upgraded to the Fate Weaver. I said when I went through the Heroes 5 creators that you were the most consistent, so you just had to show how special you are. Inferno. Your units are the Maniac. That can be upgraded to the Demented.
To the what?
No, it's a different kind of Demented. The Hellhound has been bumped down to the second weakest slot. It can be upgraded to the Cerberus. Oh no, what have I been saying? To the Cerberus, to the Cerberus, to the Cerberus. Well, close enough. The Succubus. That can be upgraded to the Lilum. The Breather. That can be upgraded to the Breather Mother. Ugh. The Tormentor. That can be upgraded to the Lacerator. The Juggernaut. That can be upgraded to the Ravager. The Pit Fiend is now your strongest unit. it can be upgraded to the Pit Lord. Heroes 6 is in my opinion the best looking game in the series, and I wish they had stuck closer to this style for the next game. When I bought Heroes 7 back in 2015, I was hoping for a Heroes 6 with slightly better graphics and the old factions available. This game ran about as smoothly as it could have. The only thing that shows its age is its very awkward looking cutscenes.
War is ravaging our lands. Brothers fighting against brothers.
Might and Magic Hero 7. Ivan Griffin, the descendant of Anton Griffin, has a predicament. He is the rightful ruler of the Holy Empire, but Duke Seamus has taken the throne. He has gathered a council of legends, including Anastasia Griffin, the Necromancer, Murazel the Angel, Kente the Orc, Jorgen the Faceless, Tanis the Wizard, and Lasser the Elf, to counsel him that tell stories of the past, of heroes with predicaments of their own. Murazel tells the story of how she came to be known as the guardian angel of Hammerfall, and of Thomas Wolfe, the descendant of Arena Wolfe, previously Arena Griffin or Daimyo Jubo. Ivan was puzzled to hear the name Thomas Wolfe, as he had learned all the names of the royal duchies but never heard of Thomas. Murazel told of how Thomas sought to prove himself to his father. He was sent to clear the old Falcon roads. When he arrived, he noticed that the bridge to Warhagen had been destroyed, and he had to rebuild the bridge. Once that was done and he crossed the bridge, he was attacked by Matthäus of the Griffin Duchy. He beats Matthäus, and Matthäus flees back to Warhagen, and Thomas sees that the Griffin have claimed it. Foolishly, Thomas attacks Warhagen and is exiled to Hammerfall to meet his uncle Conrad to avoid starting a war. Over time, Thomas found himself a home in Hammerfall and resolved to defend it against the armies of Empress Kyla Falcon, led by Sergei Griffin, who knew Dexter was a serial killer the whole time. His father's rival. Conrad ordered Thomas to defend the city by gaining the alliance of the native orcs and the secretive bloodsmiths, led by Murazel. Murazel told Ivan that she advised Thomas to craft a Tear of Ashar to create a magical barrier to protect the city. Succeeding in both, Thomas faced Sergei in a battle, and despite the offers of amnesty, he defeated the Griffin Duke and drove the Falcon armies back. Murazel finished the tale with Thomas being regarded as a hero of Hammerfall and growing up to be a member of the Bloodsmiths. But his name, as well as his uncle's, was stricken from all the Empire's historical records for defying Empress Kyla, who died the same year. And then she says that years later he will be known under a different name, Thomas of Evergrey. And that is a name Ivan is familiar with. Jorgen tells the story of the Master Assassins, the Blade of Erebos, following Veyron and Malven, trained by Erebos himself. They created chaos across Ashan, pitting its people against each other, killing wizards and making it look like it was done by the elves of Irulan. Veyron grows more and more power-hungry, hating the peace among the Dark Elves under the rule of Menon. He persuades Sorshan to poison Menon by Banshee's tear, or rather, pressures him. Affected by the madness and melancholy, Menon could not bear to live. He stabbed himself in the throat to end the madness. Later, Malven turns against Veyron after he starts poisoning himself with the Banshee's tear to get closer to Erebos. She made him kill her. Lasser tells the story of Wislov Salton, the Sea Elf, who finds himself stranded on an island. He comes into contact with two elves of Irulan, Danan and Cyril Real. Danan has been chosen by the elders of Irulan to perform a ritual of the solstice at the elemental forge of summer on the Dragon Mist Island. Unfortunately, a great whirlpool has shown up and stranded them on the same island as Wislov. With the help of Wislov, they navigate their way past the whirlpool and eventually makes it to the elemental forge of summer, but not before running into Danan's dark elf mother, Aspeth. who's trapped herself on an island full of poisonous flowers that causes her and anyone who eats the flowers to enter a state of bliss. Danan and Sil Rael turns against Whisloth, and he has to go around the island burning the flowers to end the maddening bliss. They confront Aspeth and then leave her on their island. Sabira, a wizard of the Seven Cities, is abusing the Forge of Power, and she's behind the weather events that trap the elves on the island. They defeat her and her orc slaves, whose names are different variations of the word slave, and Danan can perform the ritual. You get to choose whether Whisloth goes home to the Sea Elves, or if he stays with Danan. I chose to stay with Danan, even though I've known her for like 5 minutes. I mean, she's pretty cute. Kente, a direct descendant of Chief Krull, tells the story of the Beastman Rebellion, of Imani, who wants the Beastman to live, and Django, who wants Kasim's head at any cost. They fight it out. Imani becomes chief, and she leads a group of beastmen out of the wizard land and forms a kingdom for the beastmen, but not without the wizards trying to destroy her new kingdom. She successfully defended against the wizards, and a peace agreement is reached. Tanis tells the story of a powerful gem, the Flower of the Lore, starting with Fahada and Khalida, two lovers who was tasked by Kasim to put down the Beastman Rebellion. They had to make a great sacrifice in order to win the Battle of the Shahibdai, turning Khalida into the Flower of the Lore. We follow this gem, as it's wielded by different people, mostly leading to misfortune, until it's cleansed by Hisham. The gem is ultimately reunited with Fahada, who forms an alliance with an orc she was tasked with killing, Django. They attack Kasim. Django is reckless and gets himself killed, but Fahada finishes the job. Later, Khalida would turn into a blue raven, known as Bluebeak, Sveltana's loyal familiar. Anastasia tells a story of the fall of one of the Seven Cities, turning the Seven Cities into the Silver Cities, as we knew them in Heroes 5. The wizards of the Seven Cities turns against the necromancers of House Eterna and launch an attack on their impenetrable city, Albertil, after the necromancers retreated there. The city fell, and Vayne, the Reaper of Souls, sacrificed himself to buy his beloved Anastasia and his daughter Sekira, along with other necromancers, time to escape, taking refuge in the haunted valley of Haresh. In the aftermath of the fall, Anastasia, stricken with grief, trapped herself in the spirit world with the mother Namtaru, and other necromancers had to step up. One of those necromancers was Zenda, who had recently been turned from a withered old lich into a powerful vampire. She claimed that she was in touch with the thoughts of the mother Namtaru, and as all her orders were directly from the spider goddess herself. She became the leader of the new Hareshian necromancers, but she was not fit to lead, only seeking power. She harnessed the power of darkness, stole powerful artifacts to gain even more power, sacrificing necromancers in the process. She put the necromancers in a new war with wizards and used one of the artifacts, the Deadwood Staff, as well as the Skull of Vayne as an amplifier to put an end to her enemies, and her allies, and herself. Anastasia came back, and the necromancers who got spared by sheltering underground rebuilt from the ashes left by Zenda. After he has listened to all the stories, or at any point during the campaign, Ivan deals with Seamus. At first he goes around looking for fragments of a blade, before he gets a message from Seamus inviting him to negotiate. Ivan has offered Seamus' daughter, Nolvan's hand in marriage, for peace. Ivan will become the ruler of the Holy Griffin Empire, formerly the Falcon Empire, and Seamus will have some influence. Ivan accepts, but before he's able to marry Nolvan, Veyron pops up and stabs her to death. Seamus accuses Ivan of killing his daughter and flees back to his castle. Both Marazel and Anastasia tries to revive Nolvan, but it turns out that her soul is missing, so they have to find her assassin. They find him, put an end to him, brings back her soul, and she testifies to her father being behind her murder. The only thing left to do now is for Ivan to defeat Seamus. He goes to his castle and kills him, becoming the Emperor of the Holy Griffin Empire. Expansion: Trial by Fire. 5 years has passed since Ivan became the Emperor, and the dwarves have begun leading war bands, raiding their neighbouring lands and stealing their resources. Ivan wants an end to this, and consults with Vilma Stoneshield, Bjornsdottir, and Jorgen to find a solution to this problem. To help, Velma tells the story of Hathor. who defeated the Dark Elves, taking Renekon, the Dark Elf, impenetrable stronghold on the Dwarven border, became a hero to the dwarves and deposed King Falsort. But Hathor was not a good king. He would send raiding parties to the neighbouring lands and steal their resources, just like what's happening now. So he was deposed by Velma and Kari. They also have to deal with some Dark Elves led by Agriel and Silsai, who's trying to open a portal to Sheog. Kari sacrifices himself and kills Silsai. Tolgar is put on the throne, and it turns out that it's Hathor's daughter Aslog who's leading the warbands. Now, understanding the situation and who is leading the raiding parties, Ivan deals with Aslog, ending the warbands. Also, Wilma turns out to be Wulfstan's mother. Lost Tales of Axioth. The first story tells the tale of Guinevere Seymour, who seeks to try and understand all forms of magic. She meets her end when she tries to understand death magic, corrupted by the teachings. The second story is that of Dogwoggle, the Woggler of Dogs, who we met in Heroes 4. He is manipulated by Sandro, but ultimately defeats him. Pretty standard units, though you have more options in each slot. Haven. Your creature roster is more grounded again. Core creatures. You've got the Sentinel. That can be upgraded to the Legionnaire. The Crossbowman. That can be upgraded to the Marksman. The Wolf is now yours to command in the form of the Direwolf. It can be upgraded to the Silverback, which I thought was a gorilla. Maybe it's part gorilla. You'd also have access to the Griffins. That can be upgraded to the Royal Griffins. Instead of the Direwolf and the Silverback in some missions. Elite creatures. You've got the Guardian. That can be upgraded to the Justicar. I swear I didn't forget to upgrade them, they just look exactly the same. The Charlie Chaplin. They can be upgraded to the Charlie Abbott. The Cavalier. That can be upgraded to the Cuirassier. Your champion creatures are the Landsnacht. That can be upgraded to the Swordmaster. Moving sword in front of Master apparently makes the Master Swordsman more powerful. Or the Seraph. that can be upgraded to the Celestial and the men again. Or they were and are. There were women in the past and the future. Sylvan, you're back again. Your creature roster raise, core creatures, hunter, that can be upgraded to the master hunter, the dryad, that can be upgraded to the Oak Dryad. The Pixie. That can be upgraded to the Sprite. Your elite creatures are the Druid, that can be upgraded to the Elder Druid and the women now, or as this game is set in the past, they were before the men took over the Druid Order. I suspect Tyria had something to do with it.
By Asher's 8 heads.
Get the women out of the Druid Order. You've got the Moon Doe. That can be upgraded to the Sun Deer. The Blade Dancer. That can be upgraded to the Blade Master. Stop dancing with blades. Yes, Master. Your champion creatures are the Green Dragon. That can be upgraded to the Emerald Dragon. And the most powerful form of the Treant. I wonder if those fruits taste good. That can be upgraded to the Ancient Treant. Stronghold. Your creature also raise core creatures. The Brute. That can be upgraded to the Crusher. The Harpy. That can be upgraded to the Fury. The Null is back. It has joined you. It can be upgraded to the Gnoll Hunter. Wait, is it a hunter of gnolls or a gnoll whose job it is to be a hunter? Oh, they're range units now, just like the Lizardmen were back in Heroes 3. Well, not just like. The Lizardmen had bows while the gnoll used boomerangs, but this technicality probably doesn't hurt the Lizardmen any less, knowing that the stronghold of Heroes 7 needed more range units and chose to give the gnoll a boomerang rather than accepting the well-written application of the Lizardmen. The stronghold of Ashan 853 YSD. We hear that you're in search of range units. Well, we have much experience with the use of bows. We look forward to hearing from you and will show up for interviews if needed. Kind regards, the Lizardman. Oh, and we're yellow now, so we're a good fit for your theme. Your elite creatures are the Centaur, that can be upgraded to the Centaur Marauder, the Sand Wyvern, that can be upgraded to the Venomous Wyvern, the Basilisk is back and it's got a Rider, making it the Basilisk Rider. That can be upgraded to the Basilisk Lancer. Your champion creatures are the Cyclops, that can be upgraded to the Enraged Cyclops, and look who's back, the Behemoth, who roars silently for some reason. That can be upgraded to the Ancient Behemoth. This is the version of Stronghold that has the most creatures from the Fortress faction, so it's a bit strange that it's the Desert Orcs, when the previous iteration of the Orcs were the Jungle Orcs. This town song reminds me a lot of this show that used to be on TV when I was little, Noah's Island for some reason. Dungeon. Your creature also is. Core creatures. The Assassin. That can be upgraded to the Shade. The Troigoloid is back. It can be upgraded to the Chthonian. The Stalker.
ember, szabadrugás. Lazovic. Azt a mindenit mit vág le.
That can be upgraded to the tracker. Elite creatures. The Minotaur. That can be upgraded to the Minotaur Guard. Seems like it should be the other way around. The Strider. Oh, I don't like the way they move. I'm glad they're extinct. They can be upgraded to the Soulless. The Medusa is back. It can be upgraded to the Medusa Sorceress. And she doesn't have legs anymore. Your champion creatures are the Shadow Dragon, that can be upgraded to the Black Dragon. The Hydra is back in the form of the Cave Hydra. That can be upgraded to the Dark Hydra, taking the Hydra to the top of the creature roster for the first time since Heroes 3. Oh, and it lost its legs again. Necropolis. Your creature roster is core creatures, the Skeleton. That can be upgraded to the Skeleton Hoplite. Okay Google, what is Hoplite?
According to Wikipedia, hoplites were citizen soldiers of ancient Greek city-states who were primarily armed with spears and shields.
Thank you Google.
I'm honored to serve.
Hang on a minute, that's not a hoplite at all. Cheeky bastard, thought we wouldn't notice. The Ghost. Which can be upgraded to the Banshee. The Ebon Spider. That can be upgraded to the Death Spider. Death to all spiders! Your elite creatures are the Vampire, that can be upgraded to the Vampire Lord, the Lich, That can be upgraded to the Archlich. The Lamassu. That can be upgraded to the Plague Lamassu. The champion creatures are the Grim Rider that has ditched its dinosaur. Death to all spiders! It can be upgraded to the Grim Reaper. Death to all spiders! And the Bone Dragon is back. It can be upgraded to the Spectral Dragon. Academy is back. Your creature also raise core creatures, the Kabir. Ah, look at that adorable little dinosaur. That can be upgraded to the Master Kabir, the master of being a Kabir. The Gargoyle. That can be upgraded to the Obsidian Gargoyle. The Golem. That can be upgraded to the Sandstone Golem. Look at that chunky boy. Your elite creatures are the Jinn, the women now. And they can be upgraded to the Jinn Channeler. The more furry version of the Brashaka. That can be upgraded to the Rashaka Raja. The Apprentice. That can be upgraded to the Disciple. Isn't that just a different word for apprentice? Your champion creatures are the Arcane Eagle. That can be upgraded to the Simrug. Or the Colossus. That can be upgraded to the Titan. Fortress, you're back. Your creature roster is core creatures, the Defender, that can be upgraded to the Shield God, the Bear, that can be upgraded to the Black Bear, giving it a different tinge. The Kobold Scout, that can be upgraded to the Kobold Pathfinder. Oh, look at them. We were dwarves once, but a mad wizard turned us into these adorable abominations. Oh, they're making cute little sounds now. I'm glad he did it. Oh, I'm so glad he did it. Your elite creatures are the this. The what? The this. What is it? This. Okay, then don't tell me. It can be upgraded to the Valkyrie. What can? The this. Fine then, don't tell me. The Rune Priest. That can be upgraded to the Rune Patriarch. The Lava Elemental. That can be upgraded to the Magma Elemental. Your champion creatures are the Fire Giant. Watch out, Earth Tree. Okay, I'll stop making Elden Ring references. I remembered last time. That can be upgraded to the Erathia. And the red dragon is now yours to command. It can be upgraded to the coolest looking dragon in the game, the Ardent Dragon. The game had a few problems running, but nothing major. I prefer the style of Hero 6. This game looks cheap for some reason. It had almost a tabletop feel to it, and I'm not against games having that sort of style, but it does take away from how real the world feels. So, now you're all caught up and ready to start a completely new story in Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era. Dropping later this year. Oh, it happened again. But this time it was meant to happen.